This is Patrick with The Good and Good Life, and today I want to talk about philosophy, to define it and to know what the heck is a philosopher, what is philosophy, and what exactly is the point of it, what do you use it for? Since this is a philosophy show and a philosophy project, and I intend to use philosophy as the main method to solve problems in this world, I think it would be a good place to start to define it and to know how useful it is and why it's very, very important, in fact. Not just like some weird, esoteric thing. It's like, no, it matters. So, to start with the definition, philosophy is the study of truth. That's it. Now, that's a big subject, truth. And what is truth specifically? Truth is when our concepts match reality. It is when our concepts accurately match reality. That is truth. It's the conceptual understanding of the rules of reality, or what reality is, and what actually is. That is true. That is truth. What is real, what exists, what is actually as such. I'll find a cleaner definition later once I write this up, but in general, it's when our concepts match reality properly. So, we study, basically, philosophers, and philosophy is the study of what is true. Now, that basically goes into everything. That extends everywhere. And so, all the different branches, like science, like biology, physics, engineering, math, art, business, relationships, psychology, anything is an outbranch of philosophy. It is within the tree of philosophy, and it's tied all together, with philosophy being at the very tip and everything else being a very specialized version of philosophy, where they use the truth to solve problems or to study a specific field of truth. So, for example, biology studies the field and finds the truth of organic matter. And physics studies inorganic matter. Science is a process of how to study reality. So all of these things, they're different specialized fields of study of philosophy. So basically, anyone who seeks the truth in any subject whatsoever is practicing philosophy because they're studying truth. And as such, all of these people, most likely including you, is a type of philosopher. So, basically, everyone is a philosopher, and philosophy is used for everything. And that methodology is simply how to find truth and to understand and study the truth. So, given that, what's the specific realm, though, of philosophy as such? It's like with all these special disciplines, like if you want to study what's real, go to a scientist. If you want to study how matter works, go to a physicist. If you want to build something, you go to an engineer or an architect. If you want to learn how to have good health, you go to a nutritionist or a doctor or a fitness instructor. So, what is specifically the realm of philosophy? What is a philosopher? What are they good for? And the one specific field that a philosopher handles is morality. That is their specific discipline that no other one touches. To determine what is moral, what is immoral, what is morality, what is ethics, and how one should approach that subject and how one should approach that life. That life, a moral life, a virtuous life. What is good? What is evil? These are the questions that philosophy deals with, and this is the questions that philosophers deal with. So, what drew me to it? What should draw you to it? What is valuable about that? What is valuable about morality? What is valuable about philosophy as such? And what is valuable of philosophers? What good are they? They solve the moral problems of the world. At least that's what it should do, and philosophy is the way that you solve the moral problems of the world properly and in a way that good comes from it. Philosophers are specifically determined to find the good and to promote the good. That's the main thing, to find truth, to find morality, define it, and then spread the good. And what I mean by the good is specifically how to live good, virtuously, and more importantly, how to not be evil and to fight evil. So, philosophers help to choose the good way between the decisions, how to make moral decisions, and to help make moral decisions in your personal life and as the world as a whole. So, whenever there's a moral conundrum, a moral problem, a moral confusion, it is the realm of the philosopher to solve it. Now, what are these problems to solve? the grandest problems of them all, the most dangerous ones: war, slavery, death, violence. All of these things are in the realm of ethics, all the realm of morality, and that's where philosophers live. That's where they study. That's what they do. And philosophy is the tool to stop the evils of the entire world. And what drew me to it specifically was that I'm very frustrated and disappointed by most of the philosophers. There is so much evil in this world. There's so much violence in this world. And people don't get it. People don't accept it. Even the word philosophy, people don't know how to define it. I didn't know how to define it. I barely knew how to define it. A philosopher, you get mocked, you get laughed at. They don't even know what that means. The philosophers of old, the big shot names, you can't even read them. You can't even understand them. The layman has no value for them. And in fact, if you go ahead and study philosophy itself, you study those old philosophers, it actually confuses you. It makes your life harder. It makes things more difficult to understand. It makes you nihilistic. It actually makes your life worse. And most of the philosophers even served evil. They served evil. That's not philosophy. That's the opposite of philosophy. That's anti-philosophy. To promote violence, to promote evil, to promote suffering, to promote it and to defend it and to define it and to apologize for it? No, completely unacceptable. Which is what drew me into this in the grand scheme of things, because philosophy is the tool to solve these moral issues, both in personal lives, which to help people make moral decisions, to make them a good person, to make them resist evil, and to know exactly what is good, what is evil, which, find me someone who can define that and defend what is good and what is evil properly, who can do it syllogistically from the ground up, who can do it in a sound manner, where they're confident in what is good and what is evil completely. I'm seriously looking for those, and I would like to find and speak with them, because I have yet to find them. It's extraordinarily rare for people to understand morality, yet they use it as a weapon, as a tool. They cite morality all the time. It's wrong to do that. It's good to do that. You shouldn't do that. You should do that. They punish children. They punish their children for doing something, and they don't say, oh, it's because I have power and that's what I want to do, or that's my preference. To say, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. That's a bad thing. But why? Why is that bad? Why shouldn't they do that? What is the foundation of that? You are using this tool. Do you understand it? Do you understand morality? And that's what I want to do within this show. Within this show, this is just an introduction, but within this show, to define morality specifically, to get a good grasp on what is good and evil, and to help you live a more moral life, and to solve the moral problems in this world. Now, to go into basically, if I was to give you a head start, where I've discovered, I haven't made the case yet, but what I've discovered is that the source of evil is the initiation of the use of force. That sums evil up. That is the cleanest, most definite version of what causes evil. And if that was our sole focus, to eliminate the initiation of the use of force in the world, that would basically solve the vast 99% of moral problems in this world. And it would lead to an incredible amount of peace and an incredible amount of joy and prosperity, just from the fact that evil is defined as such, the initiation of the use of force, and it is stalwartly fought against. That is enough. And that is a major mission that philosophers should be completely behind. And that is the number one mission that philosophy is aimed to solve, is how to set up the world so that force is not initiated, to eliminate the initiation of the use of force, to eliminate, to the extent that it can, as much as possible, violence in human relationships, violence in human interactions. And that is my goal as well with philosophy. What am I doing it with? What am I doing with philosophy? Why does it attract me? What do I think is its most powerful? Why did it draw me to that? Sorry, cut out a little bit. What draws me to it? Why am I focusing on this instead of anything else? Because I believe those are the greatest problems possible to solve in the world. And that is the toolkit to solve the greatest possible problems. And damn right, I'm going to take a swing at it. Everyone has the ability to take a swing at that. To remove violence between people. Just remove it. To say, no, we're not using violence to solve problems. We are not going to be violent against each other. We will find peaceful solutions. We are better than that, and we can. And over time, I'm going to make the case for that. But that is a major mission of mine in terms of the fighting evil, to remove violence within human interactions. We can. And the amount of good that'll do, it's enough. That's enough. That's all you need to do. There's so much more on the virtuous end, on the good end, and the like in-between gray area stuff to work on, but that's the number one thing. And the number one initiator of the use of force in the world, the video cut out there, the number one initiator of the use of force in the world, the greatest offender of that principle, the greatest creator of evil, the greatest force against virtue, is the state. The state holds and claims a monopoly on the initiation of the use of force. This is how they do everything. That is their tool, that is their weapon, that is what they do. They initiate the use of force on people. The second greatest threat, maybe even the first is arguable, but the second greatest threat and the second greatest initiator of force in the world are parents to their children. Via spanking, beatings, hitting them, abusing them, being violent towards them. Those two are the greatest violations of ethics, of morality in the world. And those are the greatest and most important problems to solve via philosophy. The initiation of the use of force is the source of evil. That is evil in itself. And that is the thing to fight. And if we can get rid of that, then we can be civilized. We can be peaceful, we can be happy, and then we can enjoy the fruits of life. We can enjoy the good things. And that's essentially the goal, is to fight evil, which is the initiation of the use of force and violence in general. But self-defense, we'll get to that later. But to fight that, to eliminate that, is so good and leaves open all the great things in the world. And then we focus on the great things in the world. Things that make you happy, things that feel good, being virtuous yourself, and just living good life in peace and productivity and prosperity. That's what philosophy does. So it fights evil, which in essence is violence, and it promotes the good, which is so much more. And the aesthetic, there's a lot of aesthetics in there, but aesthetics are important. But we'll get to all that in future episodes. But I just wanted to use this episode to point out what philosophy is, what a philosopher is, what my fight is with this, what mission I have with this show, and what must be done, what philosophy must be used for, and what philosophers should be fighting for, which is the elimination of violence between humans. That should be enough, and the promotion of virtue, but we'll get to that later. This has been Patrick with The Good and Good Life, and I'll see you again next time.